BlockSurvey obviously is a really good tool.
And so once you create a questionnaire, you have to test the questionnaire.
Hang on a minute, there's something there.
Those are the frameworks we are bringing in, we are exploring, and we continue to educate in these spaces.
But now you get an opportunity to ask the people who are viewing this.
These are wild experiments we can carry out.
My agent is going to find the best price for my data.
So I was going very deep into it.
So, Wilson, thank you very much for joining us today. I'm really looking forward to this. You and I have been trying to coordinate this for a little while, but it's been it's been pleasantly surprised by the updates you've been pushing, and I've been really happy to be patient because you've done some really good, which we'll get into later in the podcast. But do you want to maybe start by introducing yourself, Wilson? Who you are,
Sure.
what you're involved in?
Thank you, Brendyn. I'm really glad to be part of this show. Thank you for the invite. My name is Wilson. I'm the co-founder and CEO of BlockSurvey, a privacy-first survey platform. The backstory is in 2021, we went for a simple hackathon run by Stacks Blockchain around the theme Society 3.0, Web 3.0, how to reimagine and give ownership of data back to people and businesses. And as part of that hackathon, I built the very first version of BlockSurvey, and I showed it to the world. And there has been acceptance, and ever since I've been building this for the last 4 years, I've been finding one customer at a time, and they're keeping me involved. They're paying me, so I'm continuing to build for them.
Yeah. So BlockSurvey obviously is a really good tool. A lot of people do use it, and you offer a lot of there's a lot of education that you provide around it, because a lot of people don't quite know how to fill out surveys, how useful surveys are, and it's becoming ever more important in this new digital economy that we're building out. So surveys are becoming really important to get that feedback from customer base, from user base, and also from suppliers. So it's a really important feature for businesses. So
True, Brendyn. Yeah, that's true. I think one of the purposes is also one is the platform also needs education with respect to how to use the tool to the best. So we do see many walks of businesses, various roles and responsibilities, right from internal surveys to external surveys. Like you said, could be for feedback, could be for even simple data collection or research. And these are the various areas where you can deploy surveys for. And we continue to educate in these spaces how you can do your best. It's because these projects are really hard in nature. Sometimes they're time consuming. Sometimes you don't get to see the results towards the goals what you initially visualized. So we try to educate around this space how you can be really successful in every project you do, specifically around surveys. So we educate that.
Yeah. Well, the thing that intrigued me the most around your project, and obviously the business you built out around it, is not just surveys and what's possible. Because when you think surveys, you think like boring Q&A, and then you have other sort of, things that look a bit more fancy. But yours has really you've really built the technology. You've gone very deep into it. This is not just, oh, well, people need surveys. This is really, you've integrated AI into it to make it easier to formulate surveys. You've really thought out about the logical steps to build out a survey. And the survey is not just a survey. It's now become, you can use it for testing. So you've also created the testing part. And it's really interesting if you can touch base on the AI part of it, obviously where the use cases are that you found, and then touch on how is blockchain integrated into it. You've also integrated blockchain technology into it.
Sure. It is interesting backstory.
Yeah.
How we were led into AI is primarily one, as we do see this was evolving space even back 3 years ago, the early days of open AI, and people were excited. Okay, now there are possibilities where we can use APIs, the large language models, to do automate few of the work, specifically in the survey space. And we were staying closer to the customers, and they said they are starting to look into how they can automate survey creation or do data analysis from the survey. And we learned from them. Then we said, okay, why not we build it for them and we put it out to other customers to see if there is an adoption. Are they willing to use it? How would they test it? And that's how we started. And then we found out, okay, AI is not just for creating surveys or analyzing data, but then through that entire life cycle, we try to identify where are the inefficiencies, and we kind of dig deeper into it at the entire survey life cycle. We found easily there are about 20 touch points, and all of them are really time consuming. And then we identify a few of them, and we started building it out, right from the very idea of why you should survey and what is the purpose of the survey to crafting questionnaires. And so once you create a questionnaire, you have to test the questionnaire. You cannot have human subjects involved in testing these questionnaires. It is time consuming. Again, you have to pilot your survey. So that in that part is where, like you mentioned, we brought in AI to answer these surveys, pilot test the survey, more of a synthetic AI giving data to you to see how you can see your data before even you're rolling it out to public. And so it's more of a simple automation there. And then at every question level, we also give you um, AI coming to create the right Likert for you. There is also a qualitative way of asking follow-up questions. So surveys are usually a vehicle for a large population, but then with AI right now available, you can also do qualitative human-like conversations, like one-on-one conversations are also possible. And the world has been primarily moved towards quantitative research. Everything is very numbers. Right now, with AI giving you this possibility that you can have one-on-one human-like conversations, a very dynamic way of asking questions based on their contextual answers. It's a possibility. So we built that out feature as well. I think it has been an interesting journey working with customers to see they're nudging us on, okay, hey, I see this, I'm using this in ChatGPT or Grok, and they tell us, hey, can you help this out in building within your infrastructure? Then we ideate around it. If it is a very easy win, then immediately we push it out. So lately, we've been constantly pushing out AI driven features. That in itself is a roadmap, which is parallelly, which we are working towards along with the other core functionalities.
Yeah.
Talking about Web3, it is primarily for data security and data ownership. So the encryption is derived from cryptographic wallets. That's how we started. We were initially storing on a decentralized storage called as Gaia, which was offered by Stacks blockchain, which is a private storage. You have access to it. You will be able to see your data for transparency. It's more of concepts around provable privacy. How can you tell me if my data is really private? Right. So I think that is the work what we did around Web3. That was the core of it. That was the heart of it. We started building around it, and we supported only for businesses or individuals who were collecting sensitive data. So where data protection is really critical. Could be creating forms, surveys, assessments, wherever you wanted to store your data really private, any personally identifiable information or healthcare information. These needs to be protected. So we offered that stack. Beyond that, above and beyond that is where the AI layer came in. More for iterating the need of the hour is that everyone is trying to be really efficient. They're already using countless AI tools. So why not build it within the platform and support them?
Okay, so it's about layering out the services. So you've taken that, like, you identified a need in the market for business critical and sensitive information to be captured, and then you realize that actually surveys are really difficult, and how can we make that easier? So you went into researching about how can we make this the best way to do it, and then you built on then you built the privacy layer was with blockchain. So in this case was Stacks, which is obviously a proof of transfer network. In other words, it uploads its transactions to the Bitcoin layer, so it's immutable on both chains.
Yeah.
Then you've obviously gone, oh, well, hang on, can we make this even better by bringing an AI layer in to make this far more seamless? So does that mean that your surveys are probably, you've added in another layer whereby you're making it AI proof? In other words, that it can't be botted. Have you also built that into the platform?
It is. We are using few other infrastructure providers to support that today. Um, yeah, we are using Cloudflare's a few of the tech to keep it highly secure, prevention from bots and so on. And then also we for Web3 we also have this identity based gating. For Web3 we call it as token gating, wallet based gating. You can prevent spam. It also gives you a graph around who your audience is in Web3 specifically, and token based gating, identity based gating. Like even you can gate .btc names or .eth. Uh, all these namespaces can be also gated. So there are few Web3 focused work what we have natively built, which other platforms don't let you to do it, like be it Google Form or Typeform or even those other survey tools. So they're very Web2 native. But our journey has been to start with Web3 first. We solved very niche problems focusing on Web3 vertical, and be it data collection, building allow lists, whitelists, and even running a token holder survey. And who has more weights can give their opinion, all that built into the platform. But then when we were done with Web3 building, then we switched over to focusing more on AI, and we also brought in Web2 users inside the platform for business use cases, and then we started supporting them.
Well, I think taking the Web3 approach, so Web3 being the inclusive of blockchain and all the other infrastructure that's built in Web3, is really a unique approach because you've built the rails and you've built the foundation, and then you've taken that foundation because Web 2 is slowly transitioning. So you're already ready to help them transition into the
True.
data layer. And then you've built the AI layer, which means it's an easy transition into AI again. They don't have to worry about how do I plug these things in. The interesting thing is, do you have plugins? So do you allow external plugins? So like you've got N8N and you've got obviously
Yeah.
Zapier. Do you have
Yeah.
those plugins built in as well
Yes.
natively?
Yeah, natively what we support is webhooks right now. So if you're using integration platforms like N8N or Zapier, Make.com, you'll be able to pipeline the data out. But then the core value prop what we offer is encryption, right? The moment it goes out, which means uh, the data collectors who use our platform, they are managing that operational security, say how they pipeline the data, so that's at their side. But as long as the data is within BlockSurvey, it is end to end encrypted, and you get to see the data. Only you can unlock your data. You decrypt it on your browser, and then you see it. So that's the level of privacy we give to them. But then we also tell them we try to build as much as possible within the platform so that you don't need integration unless you have other systems you wanted to move the data around within your organizations. Yes, you are free to do it. We support that.
Okay, and you would offer consultancy services to help build that secure pipe between yourself and their systems.
Right now we aren't most of them are just building that in a very self-service way, but there are with a lot of help documents we have put together on how to do it. There are a few use cases on how you can do it, and we also have a straight integration right now with few of the CRMs like HubSpot. We integrate with Intercom and Airtable, Google Sheet, and also Outlook 365. There are a few native integrations we have built, but rest of the integrations you can always take it through Zapier or Make.com N8.
Okay, perfect. All right. So one of the things that I think I picked it up when you were saying it, but with the other people, so I want to circle back to it, was talking
Okay.
about token gating. So token gating meaning I own something in my Web3 wallet that
Yes.
allows me access, or I have a domain name, so like a .btc, for instance. I'm like haddy.btc, meaning that with my wallet and that name gives me access because I'm on a whitelist, a list of
Yeah.
allowed people to enter into the survey.
Yeah.
So the thing I'm looking at is if I had a community and I collected this information, so in other words, they came in and registered, is that information held centrally on a database, for instance sake, and I can consistently use that
That's right.
to engage? So this is actually a tool. This is tooling. This is not a survey. This is tooling.
Tooling
So you
tool.
have
Yeah.
MailChimp plus, 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 plus. It's not just a simple survey tool. This is actually about CRM, and you're going
It
to
is. It
continue to
is.
build out that tooling.
Absolutely. What we call this as an extension in Web3 is, um, the first question is, do you really know your audience, right?
Yeah.
Or your audience, do you know all your token holders?
Mm.
Do you know where they are from? Do you constantly engage with them? Are you having an engagement with them? So what we call this piece as token holder engagement. So now if you wanted to relate this to the Web2 world within an organization, say, are you engaging with your employees? So if you have to know if your employees are engaged or not, if you have to take a benchmark, you run an employee engagement survey. So similarly for Web3, it's best for community to run a token holder engagement survey. So if you have launched a token and get to know them, are they engaged? And if they have some feedback, listen to them. So for this, only your token holders should participate, right? Not anyone else. Say if we have .btc names and we want to find the sentiment from all .btc holders, which means people who hold .btc alone are qualified to give you that opinion, not anyone else. So now in BlockSurvey, you can set that up saying, oh, you will get it by .btc holding, meaning when you start the survey, we ask you to sign your wallet. When you sign in using your wallet, we look for your holdings. So do you have a .btc namespace? If you have it, only then the survey will be open for you to participate.
Yeah.
So that is a kind of a gating we do, which means once the gating check is done, if you have it, then you're allowed to answer a set of questions. Then you submit. Now it is also a proof of submission from a holder. You will be able to see which user has given this opinion, and then you'll be able to build that relationship from there. So that's the work. This is kind of audience building activities. I've seen
Yeah.
interesting ways few Web3 members have built their audience, active audience who are willing to participate. So they build this audience list from get go, and then they continue to engage with them. So it's a possibility right now using BlockSurvey.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. When you were saying, I wanted to circle back because I think people don't quite comprehend when we say survey and you say block survey, okay, blockchain surveys, okay, we can understand that, but people just assume it's a survey, but they don't realize that because I put out a survey. So thank you. I put out a survey, and I was lucky enough for you to give me access early on. Like you gave me a subscription to play with it, but with D grants, so the decentralized grants on stacks.
Yeah.
I'll just put out a survey, and it's amazing to watch you have, first off, what happens is like your AI runs and gives you submissions to test. So you can actually test your survey. So you're getting like 20 pop up immediately, and you can actually see it's tested your survey before, and then you can obviously get rid of those when your real submissions come in. But it's incredible to watch. And then obviously because it's token gated and privacy centric, only I have access to that information, which is amazing. And I have to log in with a secure key every time I want to do it. The question I have is, how would people who don't have a blockchain, so a wallet, Web3 wallet, is there still an access point for them? How would they use the service?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting question. This is something we iterated over a period of time. A backstory was early days we supported only wallet as a login. So you bring in your crypto wallets, and then you will be able to sign in and use it. And then we found Web2 natives where they were a little averse to this. So they felt, okay, is this something to do with token? Do I have to purchase it? How does it work? I think there were a lot of drop offs, so we weren't able to convert them to take inside the platform. Then what we thought is we built our own wallet on stacks, like how we have Leather, Xverse, and Boom wallet, right? So we built a BlockSurvey wallet, which is a seamless way to onboard directly inside the app. So all you have to do is just come in, sign up, and we give you a 12-word seed phrase, and then you're good to sign in into the platform. And then that was also, it kind of backfired. It's because many users were thinking, what is the seed phrase?
Yes.
Understanding wasn't there. There's a lot of education has to go in that. And a few customers who were paying, they lost their seed phrase. So then they yelled at us. They said, no, I want my data back. I didn't opt for this. And so then we had this conversation. Then we thought, okay, maybe we have to even simplify it. So then what we said is, okay, let's bring in email on top of these wallet. So we abstracted the entire wallet. You will use a Web2 identity like email or a social identity, sign in. On top of that, as the second factor, we give you a wallet again, which is abstracted. It's still a cryptographic wallet underneath your email identity, and you will still to use it. So that is something that we did it. And there are still issues as well. I think they are not happy managing it. The self custody is something very new. If they misplace their key and if they're not able to get back to their data, there is a sense of frustration there. So we're just trying to see how we can optimize it. We are lately this week what we are looking at is, I think we are bringing the hardware security module where you can store it on a centralized server offered by us, which we wouldn't have access to. We cannot look into your keys, but then you can still deposit the keys and still use it. This is more like how the cloud version of Ledger or any of the cloud wallet providers who are offering this. And we are trying to see this if this will be helpful for businesses who don't want to take that ownership to manage at their site, but then wanted to give it to us. Okay, hey, I'm going to give it to you, so you take custody of it or put it on your server. And here, only when the authentication is valid, you'll be able to retrieve your keys and then use it within your browser. And then once your session is done, then it's done.
Interesting. Okay. So there is a way. But yes, self-sovereignty is a new concept for people where everything's been made so so easy for you, where it's like, click in, like click Google and it just signs you in and you don't have to worry, or Microsoft account. Now you really have to, there's more ownership in the data now. And there's a reason for that, because of the privacy, meaning that only you can access it. And those 12 keys, if you lose them, that's it. Like nobody else can get into it. There's no copy of the keys. You're the only person who has access, as long as you're looking after protecting yourself, obviously. So it's the same. But yeah, okay. So you have got, so account abstraction, for those who don't know, is basically it's allowing you a social layer, so you can use your social credentials, so your Gmail, for instance sake, and you can log in via Google, or your Microsoft credentials. But you still get your wallet and you still get that cryptography element assigned to you. You just can log in via another, or verify yourself via other means.
Yeah. And it is left to the choice of the consumers right now. That's how I see it. I think they have both the choice. Okay, we wanted to have self-sovereignty, like you said. Okay, just learn a little bit about it. Okay, you can do it. Now there are password managers out there on your browser. You can still manage and store it. But then if you still worried about it, and if you fear that you might lose it, if you want to have some peace of mind, and if you wanted to use a centralized provider to take custody of your keys, but then in still in a zero knowledge way, feel free to do that. But there is a trust element coming in. You have to trust the provider.
Correct. And you've also got two-factor as well, if I remember, because whenever I log in, there's a two-factor.
Yeah, there is a two-factor. We also started looking into passkey severely. This identity layer is something that we learned a lot working the Web3 way to Web2, and then for enterprise, we also support SSO SAML integration for for them to single. Yeah, and I think this identity has been a good experience. We kind of understood, as of today, as in today's context, we understood what people are really looking for. And then the Web2 natives are certainly a different. They are different, and Web3 natives are a different breed altogether, right? Very tech savvy, and then they are okay with it. I think the Web2, we are kind of building a ramp for them. I think a small step-by-step ladder for them to move into Web3 through blocks.
Yeah, no, I think Web 2 is just that people have become used to the fact that everything is very easy and very simple. And I think people who sit in Web3 understand that sometimes that trust has been like the ease. I was listening to the other day, I can't remember who was talking about it. Somebody was talking about, it was really interesting that you have two sides. So you have security and you have like easy, simple. And whichever side you move to, you move away from the other one. So if you're going to go all the way to easy, you lose security. Like there's less and less security. And the closer you move to security, the less and less convenience there is. It becomes
true.
harder to work with it. So like Web3 natives, we're used to friction. In other words, I have to sign in my wallet. I have to read these messages. I have to make sure these messages like are doing what they're supposed to be doing, and somebody's not trying to hijack in between there. Where in Web 2, you take all of that for granted, that you trust that somebody else has taken it. There's a trust layer. But obviously over time, we've realized that trust layer has been eroded, and we've become the product. Where in Web 3, you have friction, but you're not the product anymore. So you're actually in the driver's seat and you take ownership of that. And it just means that there's a little bit more friction. But once you understand it, it actually becomes easier over time. But obviously the game changes constantly, as we know. The vectors of attack keep increasing.
Yeah. That's very true. I was always thinking about it. Like you said, it's the convenience over the cumbersome, right? I think, it is. It's a choice. And few places I've seen, few places I do see people are taking the choice of, okay, I wanted to be secure. Let me make this choice. I know I can manage it. Let me learn it once and then move ahead. Yeah.
And I must commend you again. That's where I really need to jump in and commend you that you've done a lot of training. So I've attended like one of them. I can't remember who the lady was.
Was it with Kirsten? I know we did a book.
It was amazing with Kirsten, like really, really informative. Not just, I mean, it wasn't about how you set up in BlockSurvey, but it was really about how to think about creating surveys and what the purpose of those are. Because a lot of people, you just go and go, oh, I'm just going to ask these questions. And it's actually running through like the psychology of why you want the survey and asking lots of questions. And that's just one of the many things of the education part that you're actually doing. So that was, I commend you on all the education that you're doing, not just about around Web3, but surveys in general and how to be better at it. Other than a really, really good product, and people just don't know about it. That's the problem. Everyone jumps for these other sparkly ones that we see, should I say. But yours is really built for purpose, and it shines through in what you're talking about, is that you've built for Web3, then you've gone to corporate and you've actually taken on corporate. And I think communities haven't yet realized the tremendous value that it'll offer them, because I think you're building out, as I said, like a CRM platform, like a way to it's not about managing communication, but it's really about relationship management. Like, can I manage this relationship with these people who choose to be a part of my community? So it's actually intriguing. So as far as the wallet you've developed, where is that available?
It is a Stacks wallet. If you go to your account inside BlockSurvey, you'll be able to see your Stacks wallet address there.
Oh, no. You're talking about assigning an address. It's not an actual wallet. So like Xverse.
It is not actually. It is, okay. Yeah. This is, rather than storing assets, we created an application wallet for us.
Okay.
So the BlockSurvey wallet is more of a wallet for BlockSurvey alone. So we give you another Stacks address. But there's no functionality to send or receive any tokens right now. But then, if you choose to do something with tokens, that can be used.
My neurons are firing now. Okay, so number one, the wallet, nothing can come in or leave the wallet. Amazing. So there's security there, number one.
Yeah.
But then that also, you just alluded to the fact that in the future, there's a potential that there will be more layers built, like functionality that will allow further engagement.
Exactly. Yeah. So it is a possibility. All that is for future, right? Say if you choose to incentivize people through tokens. Say if you wanted to run a survey, incentivize people for the participation. All that infrastructure is already there. So from your wallet, you can distribute rewards.
Airdropping. for lack of a better
airdropping.
expression. Yeah. So there's a
Yeah,
completion and you're eligible for airdrop.
airdrops. Yeah, all
Okay.
that is a possibility. But then all that is abstracted right now, and the foundation is there. But if you want to build something like that, like you said, even for relationship building,
Yeah.
and if you want to know all your participants' wallet address, if they're giving it to you, then you'll be able to map and kind of create a social graph around them. So with namespaces,
Mhm.
if they give you in addition, if you're asking for their contact information
Okay.
or say their social identity, you will be able to kind of build a social graph and
Okay.
know
So,
your audience better.
all right. So I'm going to, so we'll have social graphing. It'll give me more analytics. I then have ability to interact on another level with them via the low hanging fruit being airdrops. I'm thinking a lot further than that, but you said
Yeah,
airdrops. I
yeah.
think there's way more value in it than airdrops. I'm thinking Spotify integration, Shopify integration here, but
Oh,
I'm going further. Um, okay, awesome. So,
yeah. Even like you said,
yep.
purchasing you even within Block Survey, we also support Stripe to sell products. I've seen few NFT community members have used Block Survey to do a pre-sale. Say
Okay.
pre-sale merc selling merc, a little bit of it, not like a Shopify like experience, but then you get initial initial commitment, right? So you can do a test,
Yeah.
more of a MVP inside Block Survey itself. So you can quickly spin it up and see. There also, like say, if you want to collect payments, yeah, say crypto payments, anything, if you're selling in Merc and if you want to collect in payments like Shopify, all that is also a possibility.
Yeah, no,
And
that's what I was thinking. That yours is like it allows communities because this is the difference between Web 2 and Web 3. So Web 3 is about communities, generally speaking.
yeah,
So you build a community base. So it's the way Seth Godin puts it is your smallest viable audience is where you start. I mean, you can always build your
yes,
audience, but you start with your smallest viable audience or
yeah,
user base, your community, and you build out from there. And you obviously it's mutual benefit or mutual value. But
true.
that's really interesting. But are you going to work with Dan from Boom Wallet? As in
We
that there's a like his wallet will be sort of the UI UX outside of Xverse, or is Xverse is Block Survey going to be an app inside of his wallet?
we have to evaluate that,
Mhm.
specifically as with respect to their browser. If we list them ourselves on their market, more of a marketplace, right? So
Have
as
you
an app
spoken to Dan?
directory. Yeah, really. Okay. Dan is also a customer too. I think he's very supportive from the early days. We've been in touch, and
Dan's a
yeah,
legend.
certainly there are some opportunities there.
Yeah.
Yeah, even with the wallet coming in, can there be more creators who can sell some templates, instruments, specifically around surveys, assessments? There are some interesting ideas that can be explored.
I
These are ideas coming from Web3, from Web2 users. There are customers who want to sell their proven, tested instruments. Could be for assessments on cognition. A lot of mental health focused assessments is one, and other assessments around learning is there. And I also see developer focused assessments are there. Um, we wanted to see what is that will help them to put this out there and have incentives, right? So the perpetual, as as these instruments are being used, can they give them incentives for the work what they've done? So these are not artwork, but then inside Block Survey, these are simple automation templates which they have taken effort to build and validate, which others can use, pay and use.
are you going to create a marketplace inside so that I can acquire templates?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So
All right,
templates
that's really interesting. Yeah.
can be purchased and you can use it. I think this is similar to templates in Webflow or in Shopify. I've seen a lot of store. You can create a small template and you can put it out for sale. Similarly, so we wanted to see this if this creator economy can go in,
Yeah,
and even for Web3, right? This is a knowledge sharing, right? If some businesses have already done it, if they have aced it, if they have seen it working, which means they can put that entire strategy along with the series of forms and questionnaires out there, more like a bundle. They can sell it. I've seen few are already selling it outside. Um, yeah, in few other platforms, and then I've seen it. It could there is a potential to see within the platform. The only thing is, since it's a two-sided marketplace, we may have to bring in both the audiences, right?
yeah,
Uh, so the two-sided marketplaces are a little difficult to bootstrap. So we may have to see how we can see if there is enough interest or not.
yeah. Well, I think so. Dan Trevino, I've had on the pod already. So with Boom Wallets and talking about open source, he's really into open source. So he goes way back to the Linux days.
Yeah.
When he's walking around. So his story is really interesting as well. Dan is one of the few people in the space that I really get on with really, really well. And him and I always have an exchange of ideas. Like I've had with you, I keep firing like, oh, what about this? Have you seen this? What about that? Because we really need to push the space forward. But I really think you should have a conversation with Dan, because I think there's a lot of synergy between
Absolutely.
what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then it's the same
Yeah.
with there's synergy. I don't know if Zero's XY0 has he reached out to you yet?
Yeah, he did. He did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
told
think
him.
we wanted to do something for the community as well for BlockSurvey.
Yeah,
I'll be speaking to him, and Dan is certainly a OG in the space. I think
oh, yeah.
I've known him from early 2019. Back then it was Blockstack. I've seen him;
Correct.
he was hanging around.
Yeah,
How he was building and
yeah,
contributing to community.
yeah. I
Yeah,
spoke to
certainly.
Zero and I had a long conversation in the background. So I asked him to reach out to you. He said he'd reach
Okay,
out to you because I think
sure.
we have so many brilliant minds like yourself in the system, and we all the difference between Web 2 and Web 3 is that we all lift each other's boats, like all boats rise together on the tide. And if we all connect with each other, the pie is always big enough and we can grow together, because people are building things in silos and we don't always know what everyone is building unless we have conversations like this. So
That's
I try
true.
to I
Yeah,
try to connect people. That's my job. I try to connect. I see an idea and I go, yes, that'll work brilliantly. We need to talk to that person because. So for those who don't know, I'm part of a Zero Authority, which is DAO, which is a building on-chain reputation, and a whole bunch of other brilliant tools around that, which also builds into the privacy aspect as well. So
thank you, Brendan. I think thank you for the work what you're doing, and uh, it is also it's a right pause for me, right? I think to come back to speak to community members like you, and if not, I think many a times I also feel like I'm heads down building. I think I'm just shutting myself down, not seeing what is happening in the community. I think, like you said, I think we all lift each other up and grow together in Web3. I think that is the core principle as well. I see
yeah,
that's the value and value and also the virtue of a lot of the Web3 ecosystem, right? So
yeah.
and
Well, that's
yeah, that's
not
true.
everyone, but there are some people who are.
That's true. Yeah.
We have to caveat it there.
Yeah, got it.
In Stack's ecosystem, we're still very lucky that we have a lot of people from the block stack days who are still building like yourself, and it's incredible to watch people build out these amazing tools. And for me personally, coming in is about making sure that we need to start solidifying and building a really strong foundation, and we can do that together. So I'm really about helping people to connect and make sure that people see it. Like I was very lucky. Another OG in the space is obviously Gordon, and Gordon was the one that introduced me to you first off. Like Gordon was the first person, because Gordon was always like BlockSurvey. I was like, what is this block? He said, it's amazing. You really need to. I use it all the time. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I got into BlockSurvey and I was like, wait a minute, this is incredible. Like, and that was still before you've layered on AI, before you've done all these things. That was 2 years ago now.
Okay.
And Gordon has always been like a advocate of BlockSurvey.
Very glad to know.
Wherever he goes, he always talks about you.
Okay.
So he's another incredible person who's actually building. I don't know if you saw, he's building a Bitcoin school in Australia.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
building out a whole school. So I
Yeah.
think you need to
Right.
speak to Gordon as well, because I think he's
Okay.
going to need your
Sure.
assessment
Certainly.
tools.
Okay. For sure. Yeah. I'll get in touch with him. It's been some time. Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's been
Haven't
head.
tried.
He's like you. He's been head down. And I was like, Gordo, like, what's happening? He's like, no, I'm really busy. This is what I've been building. I'm like, wow, this is incredible.
Very
So
cool.
I'm hoping to get Gordon on here as well to talk about Bitcoin School and how he's building, he's bridging the philosophy of Bitcoin and actually teaching
Uh-huh.
people like Web3. So, like you're talking about
Uh-huh.
self sovereignty and what we're trying to educate people on.
Uh-huh.
So, so maybe I want to pivot, and can
Sure.
we put a lens on to talk about who is Wilson? What are your hobbies? What do you like outside of literally just head down and building? Who are you?
Yeah. Who am I? That's a tough question. I see lately it's changing season by season. I'm not the same person who I was 5 years ago. Yeah, when I reflect on it, is as I'm building this business and also the products and solutions for people. I kind of taken a journey that is more inward also, and it is all for good. And I see I see there has been a path that is more very spiritual, and I'm able to see more of an ascension of that human being, and not uh, that has been the change, and I thoroughly enjoy that journey. And I lately my hobbies have been also, it's changing. I like playing music. I listen to music. I'm also a church organist here in Bangalore in India. So I go to play at a very small church. I play the organ there on Sundays. So that is one. I keep that as more as a routine, and it also helps my head to be grounded on every week. That is one. And then lately I've been dabbling with skateboarding. I always wanted to be on the board, so I know for my age it is pretty late. But then I thought, okay, let me try it out, and then I slowly started enjoying it. I think that is interesting as well. I
Shortboard
enjoy.
or longboard?
It's a longboard.
Okay, you
Longboard.
started long, yeah.
Yeah. It is fun as well. So to be on the board, trying to see some creative flow while I'm with the board, and yeah, just seeing the fears and how to learn step by step, and
Yeah.
it's been interesting. Besides that, I take time to read books. I'm very picky of the right ones. If someone recommends me, if it is a must read, then I try to see what is in it, and then I've been reading few books. I try to carry at least one or two books all the time, and then I try to brush through them.
What are you reading?
Um,
Or what's the most interesting book you've read so far
okay, interesting book.
that you'd recommend?
Late. I did. I would recommend Meditations by Marcus Aurelius.
Okay.
So it's an interesting book, and also Seneca's Letters.
Yeah.
So those are the two very short ones, and I got insights into the philosophy of the ancient times, and how they were communicating, and their way of meditations, and how they were having few of this higher state
Yeah.
consciousness or philosophy. And I those two books are very short ones. I recently read them, and right now I'm carrying a book. It's I just started with it. It's called as How to Read a Book. So I think many times I always it's a fun way to know how you can get the maximum out of the book.
Oh, okay.
So there are a lot of small bits of information here and there. You can take this more like an index, and then when you keep it along with your book, so you'll be able to read your book really the right way. So I was
Interesting.
always thinking I don't want to reread the book, specifically anything that is technical or professionally focused books. So I don't want to reread them. So it's because I know these are information. So how can I unlock maximum value from the book? So this book is helping, and this is with in reference to lately I did take time to build out my Zettelkasten box, which is from the second brain, what people are trying to build on the web, like Obsidian and so on. So how to really use it? I went the analog way to set up my own box. I don't have it now, but one day I'll certainly send you pictures. So I'm building my knowledge base inside that. So
Yeah.
as I try to, it's more of a slip box. I create a simple, more of a flashcard, a simple 3x5 card, and then I drop it them with respect to topics. So that is also a hobby that I'm trying to see. I'm just rewiring my mind with respect to where the knowledge is, and just it helps me to tie and connect the dots together better. So I'm just doing that also as a pastime activity on weekends.
Interesting. Okay. I hadn't thought about that like that way. The one thing that popped up was, so it sounds like a really good book or article would be how to create a survey, but probably a much better way is how to complete a survey, like a funny
Yeah.
anecdotal way to like, how do you actually understand? So that would be really fun. Yeah, my book that I recommend everyone is The 48 Laws of Power by
Okay.
Robert Greene. So
Robert
that's,
Greene. Okay.
yeah, that's, and then
I am. I
yep.
also have the mastery at my desk to
Oh, yeah.
see. I have the
Yeah.
mastery
Yeah.
going through that as well.
I haven't started
I
it
know,
yet.
Rob.
I need the space for it, like the headspace for it. I've got that, and I've got Human Nature as well.
Sure.
So I have to go through the other books, but I haven't had a. I just finished the one, which is good. I'm just at the like right at the end of that, and I've got a few other books like lined up to
Okay.
go. But yeah, and Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People, is amazing. It
Okay.
sounds like a very cheesy title,
Yeah.
but it truly does go through the. I mean, all of his books are pretty good. So like,
Yeah.
Earn the Right to Talk, and
I certainly see all these are timeless classics, right? I think
yeah,
these are must read. Yeah.
yeah,
And you can always go back to reread. When you said it, I felt like I should read it. Maybe I would have read that 10 years ago, but if you ask me, I maybe partially remember it, but then the essence will be there, but then in detail I may not be. But it's these are books we should reread.
yeah.
Yes.
No, Mastery is good, but Mastery came after. So his first book was The 48 Laws of Power, and it's,
Mm.
yeah, I recommend it to anyone. So it's yeah, yeah, it's one of the first books that opened my eyes to um, human nature.
Ah,
So I got it just at the right time in my career, and it was perfect because it opened my eyes to see multiple angles and to
great.
understand people
Awesome.
from a different perspective. So it was really amazing. So organ player, that's incredible. And you're constantly pushing yourself to learn new things as well, which is also really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. I'm more of a generalist, so I
Yeah.
easily get bored of one thing if I get to the depth of it. Yeah, I think the boredom kicks in, and then I'm always looking for, okay, what's next. So,
So
um,
interesting. So if we stay on the topic of general, like being a generalist, what is it? What is a generalist to you? What does that mean when you say generalist? And then what does a generalist do? Because generalists, personally, I think they're becoming more and more vital because they have more. They're like a glue because they can pull a lot more together versus
mhm.
one when you just focused in one direction or only have one skill set.
Absolutely, I think that's a really interesting question, Brendan. I see generalists as more or they are very multi-passionate people, and they literally they will have that energy and passion for everything. So there is not one thing they may not like. So they are willing to see it. They're willing to jump in, and there is some level of um, they get a joy in everything what they do. They always look for new things. They wanted to have this uh, very wide experience, and I think, but it's also a problem, like you said. Like you said, it's a question of um, they'll be inch deep, but then they'll be really mile wide, right? So that's a problem. Will they be really into the depth of a certain thing? They may not be. but they will be in few areas. But then they may not be a very like super specialist in one thing. It's because that doesn't give them joy. So it's because they're parallelly looking at multiple things and they wanted to go deeper into few of the things. I think in this season, probably I am looking at about 4 or 5 things.
Yeah.
But then next season it might be different. Last year it was I was going for off-roading motorcycling. So I was going very deep into it. So that was a season. So I see they are really multi-passionate people, and uh, yeah, probably there are multiple personas also. I don't know, but lately I've been seeing a very. I do see few of my friends are also that way. So probably that the shared experiences um, in seeing friends, and then also while during my studies, I studied at in hostel during my college days, and I got to see a wide variety of personas out there, and then I
Yeah.
kind of see everyone's interest, and then I was very curious to see what they were doing. We picked up a lot of things from there. It's more of a sandbox to get all the areas of interest from them.
Yeah. Well, I think so. From me personally, view myself as like a generalist. Um, like I refer to myself as a creative generalist or a Swiss Army knife. So, and I think it's driven by curiosity. So we have this insatiable curiosity because
Yeah,
we see something and we're like, hang on a minute, there's something there. I need to explore this because there's this itch around it because you can see something there, and generally other people don't see it and they don't comprehend why have you why are you interested in this thing. And then the other side of it is I think we also, like, people who are generous generally have really good pattern recognition. So you can take your pattern recognition gets better because you engage in so many different things. You start seeing pattern in the world. So you go, I recognize there's something here because I've recognized the pattern, and to put things together.
glad. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think it's that the curiosity is there, and if you're not seeing it, it is not satisfying. I think your heart wants to get there and see it what is there at any cost. Yeah, glad that you brought it up. That's the kind of a feeling I see it. If something is there, if there is an opportunity for you to learn or to dive into it to see it, uh, however that risk is, I think the risk is it's very high risk. Even if that is, I think you're taking that risk to go and see what is in it. You wanted to experience it, and you want to take away something from that, right? So
Yeah.
you're always up for it. uh, that's true. Yeah, it comes from maybe um, wide experiences, and then there is a sense of joy in seeing things, and
Yeah. It's
for
almost like
you
solving
to
puzzles sometimes. It's like solving a puzzle.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
You have this urge to solve the puzzle because something's flickered and you're like, but there's something, I don't know,
true,
I need to solve this. There's something I've got to figure out. I don't know what it is, but there's something there. It's really
yeah,
difficult to explain the urge.
true. And it is very fulfilling. I see it when I do it. When I'm constantly going one after the other, I'm always happy about it. So though it might be perceived as okay, you're not mastering everything, but then there is a sense of inner satisfaction always there.
Yeah.
In okay, I did give my hands a try, and then I genuinely enjoyed it. So the hobbies are really a lot. Yeah, it
Yeah. Well, I think for
keeps you
that,
engaged, and you're always active.
yeah. Well, the strange thing is that we've been led to believe that the phrase, what is it? I can't remember the phrase now. Something about a master of,
Yeah, jack of all trades and
yeah,
master of
jack of all
none is the
trades, master of none. But
master
the
of none. Yeah,
phrase is actually incorrect, where it's actually telling you to be a master of more, like to dabble in more things rather than
yeah,
follow one pursuit. So
yeah,
it's actually super interesting that they changed that to make it sound like people who, like, generalists or people who are interested in lots of different things and learned lots of different things, that's somehow a bad skill set to have. It's
yeah.
really interesting. So
True.
I can't
I've
remember.
heard that
Yeah,
phrase many times in my life during my childhood too. They said,
at school.
well, "Why can't you stick to one
Yeah,
interest?" I think, why do you have so many interests? Yeah.
So I'm looking for it now because you've just sparked it. So I'd like you, jack of all. I need to find it. I should have written it because the full phrase is actually super interesting. If I can find it. Is this the one here?
I would love to know your hobbies, Brendyn. Have you shared it on the show?
I think they do come out every now and again.
Okay.
So, but I can share them. So I just wanted to do the full quote. Where is the full quote? Is it going to give it to me here? Oh, it doesn't give me the full quote. That sucks. Okay. Yeah, it was from William Shakespeare.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know. I can't find hobbies. I have too many. That's the problem.
Okay.
So lots of things intrigue me. So hobbies, I wouldn't say I have necessary riding a bike. That's one of the things I really
Right.
like doing. Yeah. Ever since I was a child, it was the freedom that you controlled your own destiny when you're on the bicycle. You choose where you're going, and unlike a car or something else, a bicycle, there's always those you can cut through buildings. There's always a way to maneuver and that fun you can have with a
Yeah.
bicycle, and you can do
Yeah.
tricks and you can go up on the curb and how can you lean into a corner. So there's lots of stuff. It's just about your brain really.
Yeah.
And I think for me, it was always like you were talking about skateboarding or playing the accordion is when you use your consciousness, like you use your consciousness now directed on something. It actually, what a lot of people haven't I've worked it out over time, it's experience, is that when you're offloading everything else to your unconscious. And your unconscious, I can't remember what speed, but it works at like the processing power of your subconscious is way more than your actual conscious focus. So when you're focusing and you're pushing really hard at something, sometimes it's actually the best thing you can do is completely go out and skateboard or go and read a book, because the answer will come to you. And those are those in the shower moments where people have these like, oh wow, I had this like really good idea. It's because you offloaded to your subconscious. So that's why I love bicycling, reading, spending time, learning. So maybe it's boring stuff. I'm super intrigued by AI. I'm super intrigued by new technology. I'm really intrigued by how people push boundaries. And it's, just for me personally, it's just looking into that and going, like for you, I'll go, hey, like, have you thought about this? How are you building this? Are you going in this direction? Oh, that's really interesting. Now I can start building out the layers so I can actually extrapolate out into the future. So I'm a futurist and a strategic, like I'm all about strategy. So, and monetization. So I like look out and go, okay, these are interesting. And then putting dots together. So
Absolutely, I'm able to resonate what you're saying. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like you said, I think in the shower moment, or when you're doing a lot of these pastime activities, certainly it gives you a certain flow state where you, like you said, I think you're going deeper within your head to see maybe the certain things that naturally arises. You're able to see patterns and correlate things together, tie things together, and then there are a fusion of ideas that are really crazy. And yeah,
it's a saying. I can't remember who said it, but I love it. Is we start out our life where we are collecting all these dots. So we're collecting these dots, and then we get to, some people are lucky enough at a point in their life where they actually start to be able to connect those dots. So you get to that point where you're like, and that's pattern recognition. Like I have this skill, I've seen this before, and you can start putting these things together. So it's the same as you building out your like BlockSurvey. You could see there was this part, and you built this part, and then once you saw that part, then you started connecting more of these dots. You've collected these dots to your life, and then you're like, oh, and you read this article, and there's another dot that you've collected, and you connect it, and you start connecting and bolting these things to build something out that people would never have thought that a survey would be your CRM tool. Nobody ever thought that. Nobody ever thought that AI would AI together with this and together with this, and then blockchain would then give you privacy. Nobody thought about these things. So I commend you on that, the pushing about. You've also got a co-founder, haven't you, or not?
That's right. Yeah.
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 His name is Raja. And yeah, we have been building for last
Yeah. So
all the many years. Yeah. He has been there from day one when we started venturing it out. So.
yeah. So I meant to bring that up earlier, that you have a co-founder, because I see him in X, and
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
because I comment on your stuff all the time, and then I see him come in, and I'm like, oh, okay, I should be tagging both of you.
Okay.
So it's not intentional.
No
So
problem, friend.
when we push out and we look at we push ourselves out into the future, and we have all these wonderful technologies. So we've got like artificial intelligence is certainly pushing boundaries. Models are going to get smaller and far more nuanced and narrow in what they do to make them ever better. And then we have things like augmented reality, we have virtual reality, and metaverses building out. And then obviously the whole crypto space is on fire, with the US obviously starting to stabilize and put some regulation out, which means it's going to drive financial markets.
Yeah.
Where do you see BlockSurvey, and especially your space and industry, how do you see that growing into these new areas?
Sure. To think about this, right? How we see this is like you said, there are various paradigm shifts, right? I think feels like these are all tectonic shifts, be it AI or with respect to the interface. Like you said, AR, VR, how we will reimagine this interaction, right? How we have this user interface. It's going to be certainly, it might come about sooner, right? So that is there, and then like you said, the infrastructure layer itself, like in the whole of the internet, uh, can all can Web3 become the backbone, right? So that is more of a trustable infrastructure, right from, be it for compute, distributed compute, or for data storage. Uh, all this is coming together. I see it's convergence of all the three, and we are putting our foot in each of these areas. With AI, it's primarily for efficiency, right? Our goal is to, can we give a companion, what right now it's around agents, right? I think we're calling everything as an agent. Can there be an agent that can assist you to really get your work done in a really an accelerated time, and saving you cost? And a survey project that was running for say 30 days, can we get it to say 1 day? Is that a possibility? Right, and AI is kind of showing visible signs that it is a possibility. So that is something that we're actively researching and evaluating, and small experiments to see how it can assist businesses. That is one.
Are
With
you building? Are you build? Sorry to interrupt. Are you building your own AI?
we will build, like you said, a small LLM, vertical focused LLM is
Okay.
something that we will look at it. Right now, we do have some training data sets. We created it a couple of years ago. We scraped a lot of the public, um, free free to use, copyright free, copyleft license marked questionnaires, and we was trying to see, can we predict questions better. So we built that model on top of OpenAI 3 years ago. That was a pilot project we worked with OpenAI when they gave access to us. And then right now we are evaluating, can we create some custom models, or retrain changing weights, very focused on research, focused on mixed methods, quantitative, qualitative. So those are the research things which we are evaluating, so that the accuracy can improve. And we are also looking at frameworks like evaluation to see, are the AI functioning the right way. You can see if the reasons are qualified. Can you show enough evidences to where the data is coming from? Those are the frameworks we are bringing in, we are exploring, and all this could be agentic, more of a companion for a researcher to pick this up along and then get the things done.
Okay. So will it be fully automated then? Sorry to interrupt. So you're looking at, it would almost be like somebody on the street who is asking questions, but then can quickly iterate if they can identify a vector and then they can quickly iterate to follow that line of questioning. Is that what you're building out?
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like
So
a
that
research tool almost as well. So it's like a
yeah. So
research
yeah.
assistant.
Yeah,
Okay.
a glimpse of it is there within the platform today. What we call this as AI follow-up question. So based on your answer, it will ask up a follow-up question. So that could be even more be dynamic in nature, which means tomorrow we see maybe you don't even have to create a questionnaire. You tell your goal, AI will pick up a questionnaire and it will start running it for yourself. So which means the interface could go away as well. So we don't know. These are wild experiments we can carry out. So how about survey for every individual? For every individual, based on context, we'll be able to ask the right questions. So this static one way of asking questions could completely go away. It's because AI can do this in scale. It's because it is very dynamic. It is can bring in hyper personalization in asking these the right questions to the right people, and it becomes more like an agent to collect data.
So I'm going to throw it out there because this is what first hit me. It means that not only research, but then every person who's going through university now that has to write a thesis now has a research assistant who can go out and poll people and get information on their behalf. It's
Yeah,
incredible. So, I mean, it can collect all
yeah,
this information, it can understand the body of text, understand what you're trying to write, understand where you need to capture this data from, and then push that out. And then you've built a
exactly.
layer for incentivization, which then means now you can incentivize people to give you the information for you to then populate to complete your thesis or your research article. Incredible.
Absolutely. Yeah. And what we also see is there are two parties, right? So one is a data collector who's
Mm-hmm.
creating the questionnaire and asking for it. It could be you or your agent creating the questionnaire and
Yeah.
collecting the data for you. Now, if you see the other side, there is a data provider, like people like us who will fill out the questionnaire and give the data. Even there, AI can assist. Say you have a companion, and your companion will answer for you rather than you taking the time and being there and doing it asynchronously. A companion can answer for you. So this is an more of a companion for data providers too. If you've already taken one survey, you've given an opinion on one topic, you don't have to repeat yourself. The agent will know what you have responded recently, and
Mm-hmm.
it can give the same answer to you. All this in an asynchronous way, which means your knowledge or your opinion,
Mm-hmm.
your insights can be given to many people, and the agent can make money for you. So
Yeah, I
that's
was about to say. So this is exactly what a thought I've had a long time ago was that you're going to have inter-agent because they work at the speed of light in
yeah,
comparison to what we do, or the speed of electricity at this stage. They you could technically sell your data. So before, like today, our data is taken by these T's and C's that we click to accept, and we
yeah,
give it freely. But we're getting to the point at which now that data could be commercialized, but that commercialization of our data now carries a price tag, meaning my agent is going to find the best price for my data, and people are going to query my data and offer a
exactly. Yeah,
fair exchange of value for that data. And you're
true.
building that
Yeah,
out. Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Amazing. So
And
that's
an agent that works for you 24/7, and then whoever is looking for your insight, your agent can give it to them. So
mhm,
it's going to work for you all the time, and then
mhm,
you are motivated as well, right? Motivated with respect to, okay, your insight, someone who's valuing it, you can give it. And this is all coming from a space which is going to the next stage, right? So is like you said, the interface, right? Surveys are really boring. No one likes filling them.
yeah,
Another day, my friend was saying, I think he went to a bank and they gave a paper form, and immediate reaction was, okay, they're going to take away my time, and okay, I'm not. I think there's aversion there, and no one likes surveys in this form, going opening the link and filling it. All that already feels like really old school. Probably your agent should fill this and give it to you, or the immersiveness of it, right? The experience of this could be more gamified, like you said, AR,
mhm,
AR, VR, actual person coming as an avatar and asking you a question is a
correct.
possibility, right?
Yeah.
Like, say, if I am if I have a community, I have to speak to my community. I can put myself out there as an avatar, and I will be speaking to them and asking them the questions. So that is a far better conversational way. All this immersiveness is a possibility once the metaverse comes about. All our computing devices, all browsers, and all they come together. It is certainly a possibility where we will be able to leapfrog to the next generation of interfaces on how to collect data. So that's something that we are
Okay.
experimenting with,
Okay. So you're
and on
building
that,
the early stepping stones to that.
yeah. So there are few friends and also colleagues of ours who are into the space. We are constantly in conversation with them. They're working in the gaming space. We are asking them. We are always taking inspiration from the gaming space to see, okay, how the future of interface could be. Okay, we can build it out. Okay, would it run it on the current infrastructure what we have on mobile
Yeah.
or desktop? So we're just trying to see slowly, watching that space. Maybe once everything comes about, we should leapfrog there. So that's another. And then, yeah, Web3 is evolving too. We are constantly watching it. There'll be far more opportunity for infrastructure on how we can anchor ourselves to be truly decentralized.
Correct.
If you see BlockSurvey as a whole, it is not a fully decentralized platform, right? It is kind of semi-decentralized, somewhere in between, right? So that's why sometimes when when people ask me, is BlockSurvey truly Web3? I don't tell them it is truly Web3. I tell them it is Web 2.5. You're in between 2 and 3, not fully there. So as infrastructures come about, as a lot of developer toolkits come about, we should be able to fully decentralize.
Yeah. Well, decentralization is a tricky one. And the reason for it is the same as where we start off the conversation talking about people taking ownership and having self
Yeah,
sovereignty is the same as decentralization, is that not everyone wants self sovereignty and not everyone wants decentralization. And decentralization, although the ethos of it is great, it doesn't necessarily work for everything. So there's
yeah,
certain things that you need centralization, and it comes back to that convenience. So if you want decentralization and you want security, sometimes you can't have both.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you need a bit of centralization. Otherwise, you need to pivot more to centralization because you need the security aspect.
That's true.
So
Yeah,
it's not just about convenience; it's actually
yeah,
now talking about decentralization and security.
yeah,
Like losing your seed phrase, that's
yeah, yeah.
decentralization. You own it, self sovereignty, but when you lose it, it's gone. That's it. There's no recovery mechanism.
Mm.
Currently,
Yeah,
there's no
yeah,
recovery
yeah,
mechanism.
yeah. But I think that's where we are thinking, would there be a way, would there be an evolution, right? I see each of uh, these technological paradigms, right? So I see each of these are evolving at a constant pace as we see this evolution coming in and almost coming together, and then there is more opportunity. I see we'll be able to see a few of these problems and see, okay, what is it needed for the customer, and we should build it for them. When the need arises, immediately we should solve it for them. I think that's how we are seeing, Brendan.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you see, so you're very customer centric and growing out to what is the customer looking for? So it's pushing those boundaries for the customer, or do you see an opportunity and then build out towards that way and then wait, like give it to the customers? That, or is it
It
is
is
it a bit of
it is
both?
both. Yeah, it is a bit of both. I do have a few of the active customers, right? They're constantly in touch with me. They bounce ideas to us, and then we also send ideas to them. We ask them, do you see this working for you? Is it in your space? Do you see yourself using this? We usually ask three questions to use. Do you see yourself using this? And we also ask them, do you see this working for you immediately? Right. So immediately, do they have anything that they can quickly put this to test? And we also check, is this something that you would be willing to move forward with respect to paying and using? Right. We ask them.
Correct.
A question about, okay, is there a willingness to pay for such a feature so that we can validate? These are the three questions I keep asking them, and when they say all the three, then we know it. Okay, probably it is a problem. Either it is saving them time or cost, or somewhere an effort is being saved, then cost is being saved. So we are trying to evaluate it, or it sometimes it could be intangible things like, okay, it makes them to show their surveys better or show their work better, right? It's more of value
Yeah.
around brand and few other perception of how their customers will see them, right? So those also sometimes play. So but these are the three questions we try to see, and I ask them. And but sometimes the intuition also tells me, okay, you should just build it and put it out there, let's see what happens. I also do that. I lean towards that too. With our gut feeling, we know, okay, this is something that it's a no brainer, customers should need it even if they are not seeing it today. Let's put it out there, let's see if they see it. That also happens when we do that. It has worked too. So it is a balance between both, and certain gut decisions have gone really wrong. Maybe would have found one or two customers, but then that feature wouldn't have been used by many. So it's a balance of both. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I suppose it's the nature of the beast of being in the industry is that it evolves so quickly that you have to iterate and you have to try things. Otherwise, you have the. I mean, it could be that some things that you've built and failed may work in the future again. It's not that they.
No, that is the
It's just
that's totally,
the market wasn't ready for
yeah,
it yet. But then when you
yeah,
get to that point, you'll identify in your pattern recognition, you go, this thing that we built a year ago or 18 months ago is now ready for market, and you're ahead of everyone else because you've done the pain. So not
that's
everything, of course, some things, or you
yeah,
know in the
yeah,
background that it's going to come.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
But I like how you said, I think that is the comfort I can reside upon. I think even if it is not working today, maybe in the future it might work. I think that certainly helps. Yeah.
yeah. But even if it doesn't work, you learned something. So you learned something, and that pieces of that will help you at some point. Nothing is ever wasted. There's always an
Yes.
opportunity to learn in there, and there's an opportunity to grow from it. And again, it's
Yep.
about for me personally, it's about pattern recognition. So, um, Wilson, I'm conscious that you're an extremely busy person, and as everyone can hear, the building that you've done, which again, thank you very much for your time. I know you've just got over a big few sprints of getting things out there and new updates. Um, so I don't want to take up too much more of your time unless you've got a lot more time.
No, this works fine, Brendan. I think
Okay,
this is good. Yeah.
perfect. Well, then should we round up to the final scribble? So
Sure. I have about 10 minutes. Does that work for you?
yeah, that's perfect. I mean, we can go final scribble and then we can transition into to the closing off bits. But
Sure.
the tradition I have on here is called the final scribble, obviously because this is a blank page podcast. So it's scribbling down on a piece of paper. So is there a word or a phrase that represents your journey so far?
Sure. A word or a phrase. I remember lately, um, this phrase did stick in my mind, in my head for a few months. I think this is from Socrates. He says, "The more you know, the less you know," and this is very true. Since I'm a multi-passionate uh, and also generalist. But then this acceptance of this phrase did humble me, and also feel, okay, there is a lot more to see in this journey of life, and I'm very grateful for it. And I'm grateful for all the things and the people I've met through work, specifically working in Web3 space. As in itself has opened my mind, and I never imagined uh, that I would be taking this path. And Web3 journey itself it feels like a spiritual path to me. I think all things has happened for good, and the values, the principles, and everything from Web3 is I'm always grateful for all the things I've learned in the Web3 space. And
Yeah,
that's the one phrase I could think of.
Yeah, it's when I came across it when I first heard about it. I think the first time I heard it was consciously went through it was Ryan Holiday was when I first heard it
Uh,
because he talks a lot about. And when you sit with that thought for a bit, because it sounds counterintuitive, so you sit with that thought for a bit, and then you realize that the more knowledge you acquire in life, the more you realize there is to learn.
yeah,
So you start out with this like, oh, I know everything, kind of, because I know these things, and then you realize that it's a humbling thought to always sit back and realize there's always more to learn. You don't know everything. Like, it's very difficult to master anything because the journey is ever like, it's the pursuit of knowledge, it's the pursuit of mastery. It's never actually acquiring it, and
true,
it's
yeah.
that pursuit and the journey that you should really cherish. Um, is there any? Is that also your mantra, or is there a mantra that you have to your life, like a
Mm,
quote, an insight? Is that the insightful quote that you have as well?
not really. A mantra. I think when I think about a mantra, I think recently it has been about just living, meaning it's a continuous process, right? I think just being aware of your of your life and the living. I think when you're aware of it, I feel there is more awareness, more consciousness, a sense of um, alertness is there all the time, and then I feel that is giving energy to the life. It's very vivid in nature, always looking forward uh, to showing up, just moving through the day. I think there's some energy flow in that. It's more of a flow state. So I was just being conscious of that. Okay, am I really living? And day over day, I think that is something. It's more of a question for reflection every day. But I'm glad that I'm able to see that. See that. I think this wasn't something that I had it in at the forefront of my head. I think it was always at the back seat. Now that I've seen it, and now I'm not able to unsee it. So it, it's it's interesting how once I see it, and then I'm seeing it and enjoying it.
Yeah, we live in a world of distraction. So it's about taking ownership of your experience, and when you take ownership of your experience and you start to really live, then it's very difficult to like you said, unsee it. It's very difficult not to, because you realize there's this, like you said, there's this energy to it, which is completely different to when you on autopilot. A lot of people are on autopilot in life, and it's
Mm.
exhilarating to come off autopilot sometimes. I mean, we all do
Yeah.
it occasionally, but yeah, it does. Yes, it's a reminder to me as well. So thank you.
Okay. Thank
So
you.
as part of this, the third part of it is there any question that is burning, you have a burning desire to have answered by the audience? So is there a question?
Person, yes. Would they be leaving comments on the video? Is that
Yeah, I mean, people can leave comments. It's more just me going, it's always good to have a question for the, like, to ask the audience, because perhaps there's something that comes out of it when somebody watches it. But it's
uh,
more, have you got a burning question, people? Because this is about me asking you all the questions, but now you get an opportunity to ask the people who are viewing this if
sure?
there's a
Certainly,
burning question.
I know there are many unheard stories in Web3. Their journey, right? I think I always see there's this beautiful moment on very first time you come to hear about Bitcoin. That's something I always curious to know from the Web3 audience. That, when was the moment when you heard about Bitcoin, and what was your immediate reaction to it? I think that's something I always wanted to know from. It's because there are always interesting stories, and that also tells about the journey what they are taking, specifically from the audience. If they're still on Web3, still driven for the values of Web3 and what it can do for the future, right? I think for the larger audience across across the world, and could be for freedom, could be for. I just wanted to hear from them. What was their first encounter with Bitcoin, and then what makes them to be still around Web3, and what are their beliefs? And knowing that will help me. I think it's more of collective wisdom, and I would love to learn from them, and uh, it'll be helpful for me.
Amazing. So answering, like asking the question, can you answer the question now? Your own question.
Sure.
It's intriguing. Sorry, you asked. I'm super intrigued by it now. When did
Sure.
you first encounter it?
My encounter was in 2011. That was when Bitcoin was written about in all the newspapers and journals, and as a digital currency. And I was intrigued. It said that it had no creator. The creator is anonymous, and I was just following it for about a year's time, and then this happened in 2011, and then 2012. I was part of a quizzing competition. I'm also an avid quizzer. I enjoy quizzing. That was back then.
Yeah.
That was a season. Then I was really mad into quizzing, be it business quizzing, sports, and so on. And then as part of this quizzing event, this was a penultimate question. There was another team and my team. We were tied in score, and whoever gets to get the trophy, it's on these last two questions. In the penultimate question, the question was about. The question started like this. It said the small subunits of this currency is called as satoshis, and what are we talking about? And I followed the news around Bitcoin, and then I buzzed it. It's on a buzzer, then I buzzed it, and then answered it's Bitcoin, and no one knew that there is something called as Bitcoin back then in 2012. And there was a moment of pause, and then the quiz master did reveal the answer, saying it is the right answer, and then the people went wild in the room.
Yeah.
There were about 100, 200 members watching the quiz, and then they were really pumped up. And the final answer, the another question, the last question was also given to us. It was on a buzzer. Then we answered that. That was on our own compiler design, and answer was syntax, and then we won the trophy that day. And then that day I went back and saw, okay, Bitcoin did made me to win this quiz. I have to know what is this really about. And then I sat that whole night and studied Bitcoin, went through it. I was seeing how community members are speaking about this. There were a few exchanges out there to buy. And then I kind of understood the values of Bitcoin back then. And I knew how they were standing up against the big tech or the big financial corporations out there. I think it's after the crisis in 2008 and 9, the housing crisis, and they said, I think I was reading about few articles. It did hit me that it said uh, the freedom for having a house, or the basic bare necessities weren't there. It's because the financial systems were completely rigged, and there were also ideas around how big tech could also fail. I think, like how we said, banks can be too big to fail, and now we are at a stage where today big tech companies cannot fail too. So we will never let them fail, however big the mistakes can be, right? So, and I was able to see a few of those discussions, and then I was thinking, okay, this very very much aligns with the heart to what I had back then, and then I felt, okay, this is something that I should be part of. When I read about it, I think immediately I felt, okay, I'm part of this community, and so let me be around this community, and that's how it started.
You just sparked another neuron for me. Like they went off. Tech companies are too big to fail, and I just realized is that the next bubble? That's super interesting, and it also shows that if they're too big to fail means they get rescued, which means they've done exactly what the financial industry's done, is they've embedded themselves so deeply into the economies that if one fails, it all breaks apart. That's intriguing. I had never thought about that. This is the next iteration of too big to fail,
Yeah.
which is true.
I've got this. This is something that Munib and Ryan also in the early days when they were building Blockstack, they did speak about this. How why decentralization is critical, and specifically for the web, right? The infrastructure. And they say, I think it's.
Yeah, well,
I think everyone is piggybacking on every other's infrastructure, and there might be a stage where they'll be never let to fail at all.
yeah, well, there's new infrastructure now. So, but I've always been that's the issue with centralization, is that centralization gives massive benefits, but at the same time, if we're all on AWS, like we've had AWS outages not long ago, 2-3 months ago, and then you realize, like, everyone's like, why is this not working? And it's like, and then you realize, oh, AWS is down. And it's like, oh, okay. And it's like, that's why nothing works. And then you realize, like, that outage or that attack vector, or central, or the biggest problem you might have is obviously people, what is it called? I've forgot the words on top of my tongue. Censoring you, sorry. Like people being censored. Like you realize that the AWSs and stuff for the world can censor you, or Google can censor you, and you don't realize that the centralization, although it gives you cost benefits and all the rest, it's actually censorship, and you're vulnerable to what, like, it's a single point of failure. Where decentralization, you try to build out that you don't have a single point of failure because you're spreading your network. So there's one thing I wanted to get into with you, but I don't know if you have the time, which was deepen.
Okay.
But
deepen, yeah, certainly I think that's catching up to, we've been watching, I've been reading about it, but I didn't carry out any experiments around it. And probably one of the days I wanted to play around few side projects. Always just building some smaller projects just to test the markets, but
no, Deepen I find really interesting. So Deepen, for anyone who doesn't know, is decentralized physical infrastructure network. So it's really pushing the network to the edge, and generally it's on device, and generally it's like the Internet of Things. You're running something in your home that allows connectivity or allows data collection or allows the transmission of data, generally speaking. Perfect. Before we close out, I really want to talk about your two other projects that you have as well, which I love, which is owl.link and ballot.gg, is it?
Yeah, that's
which
right.
are two amazing ones as well. So do you want to just give a quick intro to those?
Sure. Owl.link is an alternative to Linktree, but for Web3 natives. So if you have decentralized namespaces, you'll be able to claim a profile and set up a simple one-pager, a bio link, more of a website for yourself, which you can add it to your social profiles and share it with your audience. That's one. This idea came about a couple of years ago when Linktree, which is a mainstream platform out there today, they did cull about 100K profiles. I think they were primarily, I think they culled down all the sensitive profiles. Our understanding is that a lot of the OnlyFans users had a Linktree profile, and all their profiles were taken away. And there was a fight which was going on in socials. I think they were saying, "Oh, how can they remove it? It's because it's just a platform." I think it's more around values. I'm not sure how they removed it. But then we thought, okay, in Web3 there isn't anything, so why don't we create it so they get to own their profile link? No one can censor or no one can take them down. It's because it's your identity. Just having an identity yourself, you putting yourself out there. It's just like a website, right? Why there should be censorship for this? So it was a question, and then we built the first version, and we saw adoption from the .btc namespace holders. So that's one. Second is ballot.gg, which is an on-chain voting polling tool. So if you have any proposals coming up, if you wanted to have your members vote through tokens, so you can do that through ballot.gg. So there are various types of voting mechanisms available. You can pick and choose. Alex was one of the members who were actively using it for all their proposals.
Yeah. So
And
Alex is for everyone who doesn't know, Alex is a large DeFi, so decentralized finance platform or protocol that started on stacks, but it sits across, I think it's got bridges to multiple chains now.
yeah, yeah. And that's one. And we are trying to resurrect both of them and try to continue to build more features. Yeah, we are working with the foundation, asking foundation how we can build a ballot further for any of the further polling that happens in ecosystem. So just overhauling and going to make it available further.
Amazing. So owl.link is only for like Bitcoin naming service. So like you've got
Yeah.
ENS, which is the Ethereum naming service. So you have DNS, which is what all websites work on, which is your domain name. So you have that in Web3 space as well. So you basically can own your own domain and you can then attach things to it. So you're allowed for that. Okay, amazing. So how do I get an owl.link?
Yeah, right now it is, if you have a .btc namespace, you'll be able to sign through your wallet and then you'll be able to claim the profile.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you have to just publish it. We ask for 10 stacks to publish your link. It's just a one-time fee and then you have your profile for it.
Okay, so
And
it's a one-off payment, and then you own that,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's whatever updates you bring out, or
yeah.
yeah,
No further charges to it.
correct,
So
cool, okay,
it's a fairly simple platform. We are overhauling. There is a intern who's working with this. His name is Siddharth. He joined us a couple of months ago. He's he's overhauling it, redesigning it. He's bringing some cool themes, and then uh, as part of the onboarding, also rather than buying namespaces separately, he's trying to bridge buying the BTC and also claiming the profile through here. And that's something that he's working out towards. We are shipping in a few weeks' time, and it'll be fully available.
amazing. Okay, all right. So I'll put links to those at the bottom for anyone who's interested in them. But they are really cool tools. And then you also had an NFT project associated to owl.link as well. Did you not?
No, NFT is it's a more of a we are evaluating a token economics play there.
Okay.
Can there be a community owned network, more around social graphing? Um, we are still evaluating it, so we wanted to be part of the community and hear from them and see how we can this project be decentralized? Can there be more developers across the globe contributing? Can they create templates, and can there be some incentives kicking in? We did hear from community members. There are some interesting ideas how this could be more of a simple microsite where can we create an ecosystem like WordPress? Can others build plugins, sell, and then can they run it just on the microsite play, mobile first? So yeah, evaluating it needs some headspace to sit and build that out. Just waiting for.
Okay. Yeah. No, it sounds there's Zero Authority and Boom Wallet come to mind,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
BNS1
yeah, yeah.
as
Uh,
partners.
True. Yeah. So we probably that could be a great way to distribute as well. So
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking that it would be good for like Zero Authority profiling because the profiles will go, and that'll give an
yeah,
opportunity to push
yeah.
out, and then Boom Wallet to have it sitting inside as the like the UI
The wallet
UX
inside. Yeah,
aspect of it, that it's easy to
yeah,
interact if you're on
yeah.
mobile.
True. Yeah, if you open up the APIs for them to query the profile, which means the becomes a kind of a one profile for all apps to use as well. So which means you don't have to ask this data again. If they're already there with OwlLink, you can query and get the data out.
Okay, awesome. Sounds really amazing. So thank you very much for your time. What I want to do is I want to thank you very much for your time today, but I also want to thank you for the things you've built and the things you continue to build. And I'll put links down for BlockSurvey so people can go there and sign up if they want to. Again, you don't need a Web3 wallet that's automatically created. So Wilson and his team have built it so you automatically get the wonders of cryptography built into it, and you don't need anything more than an email address. So, but thank you very much for building amazing tools. Thank you very much for bringing your philosophy and sharing your thoughts with us today. I'm really glad that I met a fellow generalist, although I think you're far more accomplished than I, but nevertheless, and I'm really keen to hear more about your skateboarding.
Sure.
So, and I'm looking forward to chatting with you in the future. But thank you very much for what you build, though, and sharing your time today, but also your expertise. And I think BlockSurvey has a very bright future, no pun intended.
Thank you. Thank you, Brendyn. Really appreciate it. And thanks
Yeah.
for the kind words. And thank you for having me on your podcast. I'm really glad to be here and speak to you.
I'm really happy to talk to you. Ever since I first spoke to you, I think it was probably about 9 months ago, there's no interaction with you has ever come without you having a smile, without energy, and always willing to make it better for everyone. This is not just about trying to take, you're always trying to make it a better space for everyone else. So thank you for that, Wilson.
Thank you, Brendyn.
Until next
Appreciate
time.
it. Yeah, see you. Cheers.